Okay, everyone, welcome to today's webinar. Thanks for joining us. Today, we're talking 3 ways to use custom objects in Opsgenie. My name is Sean Pinney. I'm Director of Product Marketing here, and I'm happy to be joined by John Meyer, who is a Solutions Engineer. John, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
All right, so we'll jump right into it here. So first things first, if you have questions, please ask. If you've been on our webinars before, we love to engage with questions throughout the show. We'd rather answer 20 questions than just do our own presentation. So please ask questions as they come up. John's going to be going through lots of cool stuff with custom actions inside the product. A lot of cool features and things to show you. So as you think about your own environment, shoot those questions over. I'll play moderator and make sure we answer the questions in as real time as we possibly can. If there's other questions that we don't have time for, we'll take those offline as well. So quick agenda. So obviously we're going to spend 90% of the time today in the live demo with John. But before we do that, we do want to set a baseline for anyone who may be new to custom actions or even new to Merid. So kind of a quick what, why, and how of custom actions and Merid. Then we'll get into the demo, as I mentioned. We'll talk about a few next steps and things that we think that you guys can do as customers or prospects to get value out of all this. And then, of course, we can answer any additional questions by the end of it, and hopefully it's a good use of everyone's time. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and move things over to John and let John drive here for a bit.
All right.
Okay. John, you should be able to get control of the screen there and show your screen. There we go. Yep.
All right. So to get started, what are custom actions in Opsgenie? So custom actions are additional Opsgenie actions that allow you to quickly and effectively react to alerts. By default in Opsgenie, you have a number of different actions that you can take on an alert. You can acknowledge an alert, you can close an alert, you can add a note, you can add a team, but all of these are predefined within Opsgenie, and they're predefined Opsgenie actions. With custom actions, you can actually create your own actions that are tied to a button on the alert that execute a script that is running in your environment. Some quick examples of these actions are ping, traceroute, or create ticket. So say, for example, you have a script that pings a down host or server. You can actually tie that to a button within Opsgenie. And whenever that host is down, you can actually click that button on the alert to ping that down host and actually get the results from that ping in the Opsgenie alert. And that's just one quick example of things that you can do with custom actions. And if you can script it, it can be a custom action. So if you want to query a database, if you want to execute against something within your internal systems, that is possible with Opsgenie. By default, we support Groovy scripts and Ruby scripts, but if you have a Python script, a shell script, anything of the sorts, you can also just write a quick Groovy script that executes that script and returns that output within the Opsgenie alert itself. So why do our customers use custom actions? Custom actions empower the users to make quick assessments and determine the right course of action on the go.
Hey, John.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Looks like your screen might be frozen. Let me try to take control here for a second and send it back to you. Okay, let's try to send this back to you. Technical difficulties, gotta love it.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Can you see my screen?
I think so. Can you click present and click ahead in the deck?
Can you see that, Sean?
No, it looks like you're still frozen. Can you go into just go to the live demo?
Yes, 1 second here. Sean, do you want to share the deck from your screen?
Yeah, why don't I do that and you can try to get the demo set up.
Yep, that works. So I can pass that to you. And you can just share the slides and I can talk from there.
All right, let's try this again. Apologies everyone for the delay here. All right, so we talked about what they are. You can script it. There we go. Go ahead, John.
Sure, thank you. So why do our customers use custom actions? Custom actions empower our users to make quick assessments and determine the right course of action on the go. So you can actually execute these custom actions from your mobile app, from Slack, to get more information for that particular alert. So in the case of that ping action, you're on the go. You just want to ping that server very quickly and get the results to see if that host is still down or not. You can enrich the alert data on the go quickly and effectively with these custom actions. The next slide. So how do these custom actions work? First off, they're defined at the integration level. So for example, in a Nagios integration, for example, if you want your host down alerts to have a custom action associated with it, you would actually configure that within your integration. In the advanced settings of each integration, you will actually see an actions section down at the bottom of the screen, which I can show you here in a bit. And then when an alert is created from that integration, that action will now be available as a button on the alert itself. And when the button is pressed, the action is executed. And then from there, Opsgenie has we built a Merid integration server that actually subscribes to those actions and executes those scripts when the actions are taken. So you install Merid somewhere in your environment, and it's essentially just listening for those custom actions. And you can configure it to say, listen for this ping, and when the ping custom action happens, then go ahead and execute the script that is associated with that particular action. And as I stated previously, all of this is enabled by Merid. And Merid, again, is an integration server that we built mainly to resolve challenges when integrating internal and external solutions. And all it really is a Java service that you install on within your environment. And one of the great things about it is that the Merid connection between Opsgenie and your system is actually initiated from the inside out from your environment. So say you have it installed somewhere on your internal network, you actually do not need to open up incoming ports such as 443 to allow for that data to be sent to Merid. Merid initiates it from the inside out. So as long as that server or wherever you have it installed does have outbound access, then Merid can pull that information from Opsgenie. And then when that custom action, again, is executed within Opsgenie, Merid is able to map that action to a specific script on your system and execute that script.
Great. All right, so now we want to get into the live demo here. So John, let me try to switch this back to your screen here.
Sure. All right. All right, so the first place that we're going to start to configure these custom actions is at the integration level. So for example, I'm going to pull up Nagios within Opsgenie. And as you can see here, we have all these different alert fields down here that we can modify. And there is one section for actions. So as you can see here, we are currently modifying a service alert. say we want our host alerts to have a ping action associated with them. All we have to do is add the action here, ping, and then go ahead and save the integration. So now anytime that alert is triggered, that host alert is triggered, it will indeed have the ping action attached to that alert. So you'll see it as an extra button on the alert itself. Now to actually set up Marid, all you need to do is add in a Marid integration within Opsgenie. So here we have our Marid integration server. I currently have it assigned to my ops team, and you can choose when you would like to pass data to Marid. For this example, we're only going to pass Marid custom actions. But if you also want to execute scripts when an alert is created, you can also do that as well. And you can also execute scripts when any of these actions are taken in Opsgenie. But for this demonstration, we're just going to be passing custom actions back to Marid.
Yeah. Hey, John, there's a question on Marid, actually.
Okay.
Matt's asking, can Marid be installed on an AWS EC2 instance?
Yes, and that is actually what I'll be using in this demo here.
Perfect.
Yes, so Marid, it can be installed both on in a Windows environment as well as a Linux environment. And in my demonstration here, I will be using just a Red Hat box that is installed on an AWS EC2 instance. So I can actually, that's the next thing I will pull up here. So if I go here to sharing. So here is the EC2 instance within AWS. And when you install Marid, it comes with a configuration file. And that configuration file is where you're going to actually map those custom actions to the scripts that you have in your environment. So here, I'm going to navigate to etsy/opsgenie/conf. And here we have our, let's see, etsy/Marid. Sorry, etsy/Opsgenie. Then we have this Marid directory here. And in the Marid directory is where we have this Marid configuration file. So if we take a look at this Marid configuration file, there are some settings in here to use Marid with a proxy. That is all disabled by default. But what's really important is down here at the bottom where there's this alert action script configuration. So here we're saying if the action ping is executed, then go ahead and run the ping.groovy script. We also have another custom action for running a trace route. So for example, here we're telling Marid, if the trace route custom action is executed, go ahead and find that traceroute.groovy script in our home directory and execute it. And you can point all these different actions to the different scripts that you have in your environment. So that is the configuration file. And very quickly, we can just take a look here to see the Marid service. And we can see that it is indeed running. So now we are ready for a test of the first custom action. So now I'm going to go back to Opsgenie. So now what we're going to do is fire off an alert, and this particular alert is going to have the ping action associated with it. Here. All right, if we refresh the screen, we have. All right, so we have a new alert. It looks like a host is down, and we have all the different details for that particular alert. The host name, the address, some other details, a ServiceNow incident link. So in a real life scenario, I'm the on-call user. I receive this alert either in Slack, via the mobile app, on the web. I want to know if this host is still down. So to quickly and effectively get more information, if this host is still down, I can actually click here for all the actions, And now you can see that we now have that ping custom action associated with this alert. So all I have to do is click this button, and we get a note saying that the action has been executed. And within a few seconds, it will actually populate the notes of this alert with the results of that ping command. So I'm just going to refresh here. And as you can see here, we now have the results from that command. So here, it actually looks like I pinged this host, and it looks like the host is actually up. So it looks like this is okay. So I can actually add a note for the rest of my teammates to see. So I can say, the host seems to be back up. So now the rest of my teammates will be able to see both notes. They'll be able to see the results, and I can actually go ahead and acknowledge this. And after further investigation, I found out that the host is indeed back up. I can go ahead and close this out. So as you can see, within seconds, custom actions allow us to get more information regarding these alerts.
That's great. And John, there's a couple questions that came in while you were chatting about Merid.
Sure.
So the first one was about instances. And do we need different Merid instances for each team, since the API key would be specific to a team integration?
That is a very good question. You could have multiple instances for multiple teams, or you don't necessarily have to have a Merid integration tied to one team. You could have it at the account level as well. So it's really up to you. You can have one Merid instance that matches on all alerts and has multiple scripts, or you can have multiple instances for each team. That way you can make it a bit more granular, and each team can sort of control what actions their team is executing.
Great. And then one more for the moment, and then we'll continue on here. We're running Windows for our server. Do we still use Groovy scripts? Does this support PowerShell scripts at all?
Yes. So Merid, it actually it can only execute Groovy and Ruby scripts. But what we've seen customers do in the past is you can actually write a quick Groovy script that executes PowerShell scripts. So the Groovy script would be, a few lines of code that calls that PowerShell script, and then we can take the results of that PowerShell script and post that back to Opsgenie.
Great.
All right. So now for the second use case, we're actually going to execute a different custom action. This time we are going to be executing a traceroute command, and we're also going to be doing this from the mobile app. So here, I'm going to go ahead and share my mobile app screen. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and trigger this alert. Now if we go to our open alert section, refresh the page, we have a new alert saying that this time a different host is down. So we can click into this alert to get all the alert details. We can see what host it is, the address, how long it has been down for, and the ServiceNow incident, for example. So now, say I've already pinged it and I want more information, we can run a different command such as traceroute to enrich the alert data a bit more. So all we have to do is, in the top right-hand corner, hit the options button, and now we are given the many options for different actions in Opsgenie, and all of the custom actions will be down below at the bottom of the page. So now we can see that we do have that traceroute custom action available to us. All we have to do is click that button, and we get a little note saying that the action will be executed on this particular alert. And we also get a confirmation that it has been executed. So now if we go ahead and refresh this very quickly, within a few seconds, we should get the results back. So we just got a note saying that the results of the traceroute command have been added. So if we click into the notes section, we now have the results of that traceroute command. And it looks like the packets that are being sent to that down server, or that down host, are timing out. So it appears that this host is still problematic. So we do need to do further investigation on this particular alert, but running that traceroute command gives us additional data within seconds of that host going down. So this allows us to quickly take a look at that host and see what's going on with it. All right, and then for the third example, what we're going to do is we're going to see a similar host going down, but we're actually this time going to create a Jira ticket for that. And this is actually done without Merid. This is done just using Opsgenie's Jira integration. So I will go back to sharing my other screen here. All right. So as I stated previously, within the Jira integration, you can have tickets created based off of a custom action being executed. So for example, here within our Jira integration, we have all these different action mapping features for creating Jira issues. And here, our first rule, we're stating if the custom action create Jira ticket is executed, then go ahead and create an issue in Jira. And you can have this custom action really do anything that you would like. Perhaps you want one that states to resolve an issue. You can have a resolve custom action and map that to the status of the issue being set to resolved. But in this example here, we're just going to show you how to quickly create a Jira ticket based off of that custom action being executed. So from here, let's refresh our page. So now we have a new host that is down. We can click into the alert to see the details. And from here, we can see that now we have multiple custom actions associated with this alert. We have the create Jira ticket action as well as the traceroute action. So if we want to, say we want to automatically create a Jira ticket for this when that custom action is executed, all we have to do is click this button here. And if we refresh the page, we can actually take a look at the logs and see that we initiated the custom action create Jira ticket. That issue was sent to Jira, and it looks like the Jira issue was created, and we actually added the issue key to the Opsgenie alert details. So if we scroll down here, we can now see that this is the Jira issue key for the alert that we just created. And if we go to our Jira instance and put in that issue key, we will now see that this is the brand new issue that was created via that custom action. And what we can also do to add additional information, not only to Opsgenie, but to Jira as well, when those custom actions are executed, so say we run the traceroute command to get more information for that host. If it's added as a note, we can actually pass that data back to Jira as well. So if I refresh the page here, we will see that we have the results of that traceroute command here, and we can go back to the Jira issue and refresh the page, and we now see that the Opsgenie note was added as a Jira comment as well. So we're both enriching the alert data within Opsgenie and enriching the issue data within Jira as well. And it's worth noting that these issues or these custom actions, again, they're highly configurable, and you can really customize your workflows within Opsgenie with these custom actions. Maybe you want some things to be automated, but if you want any manual processes, you can set up those processes and those workflows with these custom actions. All right, Sean, I think that was it for the live demo. I think we can open it up to questions now, if you think that's best.
Perfect. Yeah, a bunch of questions came in, so that's perfect timing. Someone was asking, I don't know if you can show this or not, but show the, and if not, we can take it offline, but show the Jira config section on the integration page. I don't know if that's.
Yes, we can show that. So I can pull up the integration here. And so this is the Jira settings for the integration. We have our API key here. We have this action mapping feature here. So the first section, we're stating, if we want to send alert updates back to Jira, then follow these actions here. So if alert's acknowledged, set the issue to in progress, and so on for alert updates, as well as the options for creating JIRA issues from Opsgenie alerts. So here we're manually creating an issue when the JIRA ticket is created, or when that create JIRA ticket action is executed. And we are also, for this integration, we have our details set up here. So we have the URL for our instance, we have the issue type, task, and then we have the username and project key. And it is worth noting that Merid is used for custom actions, but Merid can also be used for other things, such as the JIRA integration. Say you have an on-premise JIRA integration, you can actually use Merid to integrate JIRA and Opsgenie.
Great. Let's see here. There was a couple of, so is it possible to have an action, i.e. ping or trace route, executed automatically when alert is created, or after like a specified interval, i.e. like if the alert has been open for X minutes?
So one way to have that created automatically is via that Merid integration. So here, if we go to Merid, we can actually tell Merid to execute that action or execute that script as soon as the alert's created. So that way you actually don't have to manually go in and click the button. You can, if you click this here, you can say, okay, when that alert is created, go ahead and execute the script that is associated with that ping action.
Got it. And then let's see here. If I wanted to restart a server after pinging it, could I do that as well?
Yes, you can have, I believe you can have up to 10 custom actions on any given alert. So on this particular alert here, if you wanted restart server, trace route, ping, if you wanted all these on an alert, you can execute those sequentially if you would like. So yes, you can restart the server after pinging it as well.
Okay, great.
Again, just to piggyback on that, custom actions are very flexible. So if you have a script that restarts a server, if you have a script that does anything, Merid and custom actions can probably execute it.
Great. Let's see what else. There's a bunch of questions that came in. This one is more about Merid. Do we have to have Merid installed in a dedicated server?
Yes, you would. So, short and sweet.
Yeah.
You do have to have Merid installed on a dedicated server for this.
Okay, great. And then this one's about SolarWinds. Scott's asking, most of our alerts come from SolarWinds. Do we need any special configuration on the SolarWinds alerts to pass in the IP FQDN of the server?
For SolarWinds, most likely we would have to modify the body to post data that we're sending in SolarWinds integration. So in SolarWinds, when we're configuring those trigger actions, we are stating when this alert happens, trigger an Opsgenie alert. We would have to probably customize that body to post data in SolarWinds to pass in that IP. But once we get that IP within Opsgenie, we can store that in the alert fields and then ping that IP directly from the alert itself using custom actions.
Okay, great. And then this is a question on CCing alerts to their NOC. Is there a way to restrict custom actions to only be available to the primary team responsible for the application?
So for example here, if I'm a member of the ops team, I will have access to these custom actions. But if I'm not a member of the ops team, then I won't be able to execute custom actions on that particular alert. And also just to piggyback on that, we also do have custom user roles, and you can actually limit users from executing actions in those custom user roles. So for example here, we can modify a role and say, where's it down here? Custom actions. Oh, here we go. Down at the bottom right here, we can actually restrict the ability to execute custom actions from for specific users. So maybe you do have some custom actions that are very, very powerful, restarting stuff, terminating servers and whatnot. We can actually go ahead and restrict those actions here.
Okay, great. And then back to the phone app and the ping button that you were showing earlier. Will the ping button that you added be available in the phone app, or is it available in the iPhone app?
Yes, it is available both on the iOS app and Android app.
Okay, great.
And it's also available if you use Slack. We have it available in Slack, and it's also available in Microsoft Teams, HipChat, really any of those notification channels. You can execute custom actions, and also via text message as well.
Okay, great. And then is it safe to assume that Marid can also be, in terms of a dedicated server for Marid, can also be a VMware instance?
Yes, it can be a VMware instance, just like it can be, an Amazon EC2 instance.
Got it. Okay, great. All right, it looks like that's a bunch of the questions for right now. So we'll take a little break. I'm gonna grab control here to bring it back to the couple of the slides, and then if any other questions pop up, we can answer those as well. We can always jump back into the software as well.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so suggested next steps here. Obviously, keep questions coming if you have them, but I think getting started with custom actions is obviously the big thing we want to kick off with. And actually, I'd love to get a look. We've had a lot of good questions here today and good engagement. I'd love to just throw a poll on the screen here to kind of understand, who would be likely to start using custom actions, or if you need any help with it, we're happy to help. So if you could vote on the screen, that would help us kind of understand a little bit about where you guys are headed, and if we do need to help you out, we're happy to do so, either John or anyone else on the team. So if you could take a second to vote on that poll, and then we can go back to answering any further questions that you guys have. Okay, so we got a lot of people interested, which is awesome. That's what we like to see. All right, so I'll go ahead and close that down. Go back over here. So, like I said, getting started with custom actions, I believe, John, at the standard plan and above, but if you're not quite there on the plan side, we can definitely work with you. So reach out to us on the customer success side, and we can help you get set up. Also, you can install Marid if you haven't already. There's the documentation link there that you'll get when we send out this deck afterwards, or you can just go to our documentation on the website and find that. And also, John's put everything that he showed today in GitHub, so you guys can grab that and play with it and try it yourself. And then if you have questions, you can come back to us as well. And then also, a quick plug for what's new. So, a bunch of new integrations. We're over 200 at this point. Really the whole power and performance of our tool at Opsgenie, and our focus is integrating with the tools that you guys are using to make your lives easier, to be able to do your work better and faster and more efficient. So Raygun, Sentry, Lightstep, if you're using those tools, there's now an integration for them, so you should check those out. And also something coming up that you should be aware of that will have more content out in the near future from our product team is incoming call routing. So if you're using the incoming call routing product or feature, we're now going to have some nice reporting off of that. So again, building out more robust reporting, another way to kind of analyze your process and see what's working and what's not. So just a quick plug for that stuff, and there's more coming there. So with that, we'll go back. I'll open it back up for questions. Let's see if we have anything else that popped in while I was chatting there. And let's see. Let's pull that box here. Okay, here's one, John. Just talking about an integration, custom actions with Monetus. Not sure if we have an integration with Monetus or if you know about that one. The example is to ping some antennas or to check some links that are, to see if checking links that are up. We can always take that offline if we need to.
Yeah, so we do have a Monetis integration, and again, you can set those custom actions within the Monetis integration, and we can actually pull the data from Monetis, and we can pull that into the Groovy script that we're executing. So for example, in my example, what I was doing is I was actually grabbing a property within the alert. I was grabbing the host address and I was pinging that host address. So for example, in Monetis, we could actually pass the alert details from Monetis, from the alert, to the Groovy script, and then ping, or you can ping a host, for example, from the Monetis alert details.
Cool. And is there a containerized version of Marid?
Right now, there is not, but we are currently, that's something that we're currently actively working on.
Got it. Okay, let's see. Yeah, and I think that's the majority of the questions. So this is great. We've had a ton of questions. So if anyone has any last questions, now's the time to type them in the chat. Or if not, you can reach out to us anytime you want on the website or in-app through the little chat bubble that's at the bottom right-hand side of the screen. We're happy to answer those questions anytime, John's team or anyone else for that matter. And with that, let me just check one more time and make sure I didn't miss anything. All right, we got one more. Steve, your last call. Anyway, is there any way to ask the user for additional information when executing custom actions?
So what we could do, ask the user for additional data. So I guess in the script itself, we can execute the custom action. It can display the results in the notes. But based on those results in the script, there could be some logic that says, if the results look like this, then add a note prompting the user to do something else. So that way, that would be added as a note to the alert itself, and the user would actually get a notification for that note. You would get a notification saying the system added a note to this alert. They would click on it, and it would prompt them to add in additional information or to take additional steps. So yes, that does seem possible.
Okay, great. Let's see. And would it be wise? I don't know if you've done this at all. Would it be wise to configure a redundant Marid setup? If so, how can you configure it to use two available options?
A redundant Marid setup. So what we've seen in the past is people that just have redundant setups, and they just keep one sort of disabled, and so all their alerts are going to one, and if for some reason that one is having issues, you can quickly just disable that within the Opsgenie integration and go ahead and re-enable the new one or the backup one.
Great. And then just a question on like repository of sample scripts. I know we're going to share out that GitHub link that you had, John, but do we have a repository? I don't know if we do. Do we have a repository of sample action scripts, like where we can actually see the source code for your ping or Groovy or traceroute scripts or anything like that?
Yes, that GitHub link that is included, that is the source code for the live demo today. Okay, we also, and if you just need other Groovy scripts, for example, if you go to github.com/Opsgenie, you can see all of the Groovy scripts that our integrations run. So for example, SolarWinds, Jira, Nagios, those integrations are bidirectional, and they actually use Marid Groovy scripts to execute back to those other systems. So if you want, some Groovy examples, you could take a look at github.com/Opsgenie and take a look at some of the examples that we have there.
Got it. Okay, great. Well, thanks everyone for coming. This has been great. A lot of good questions. We'll follow up with any questions that we did miss. John, thank you for your time, and thanks everyone for coming, and look forward to speaking with you all soon on our next webinar. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you all.